Now, this illustration deals with buildings or structures supplied by feeder or feeders or branch circuits or a branch circuit in accordance with 250.32. Now, up to this point, we've grounded a service, as you see in the main building. We also have grounded a separately derived system fed from a main in the service or subpanel to a separately derived system in 250.30. Now, we're reviewing where we have the service equipment maybe located in a building in a substation, for example, or just a building that's located with service equipment, with feeders going to different buildings. Or maybe in one building we have all the service equipment feeding two other buildings. So we've basically looked at 250.24. We've, for service grounding. We've looked at 250.30 for separately derived system grounding. And now we're looking at 250.32 where we would feed from one main service equipment location to separate buildings, as you see in the illustration. Now, for example, the building to the left, it's identified as building 2. To be able to use that grounded conductor that you see connected to that common bar connected into the electrode system, to be able to use that conductor as a bonding means, as a path for an effective ground fault path, and as a neutral, it has to be existing. In other words, it would have to be an existing installation. All installations that are new, where you feed from one service location with a feeder to another building, as you see to building 1 there, you have to isolate the neutral bars you see and bond in the equipment grounding bars you see and connect it into the electrode system in 250.50 of the code. All your electrodes bonded together to provide an electrode system. So the building 1 to the right has to meet 250.32, B as in boy 1. But the building to the left really has to meet 250.32 B1 exception. So if you're running a feeder from one building location service equipment to another building, for example, it could be a sub-panel, it doesn't matter. Notice that you do have to connect it in accordance with 408.40. You have to isolate the neutral bar from the enclosure and bond the equipment grounding bar into the enclosure. Now, if you say you had a 225 amp main in the main building feeding building 1, and we would have, say, a 225 amp main there, we'll just say that's what we have, then that neutral could be sized by 220.61, just neutral load. But the 225 amp main would require that equipment ground routed over to building 1 to be a number 4 based upon the 225 amp main, because we have an overcurrent device ahead of those conductors feeding building 1. So we have to use table 250.122 because it's considered load side. So the equipment ground would be number 4, but you could have a 1-aught, you could have a number 4, number 6 neutral if you had, just depending on the amount of neutral load that you had. But the other thing they straightened out is the grounding electrode conductor now would not be sized off the 225 amp main in the main building. It would be sized by the 4-aught conductors feeding the 225 amp main in building 1. So it would be number 2 by table 250.66. So now here we're using 2 main tables, or really 3. You're using table 250.122 to size your equipment ground based upon the 225 amp main in building 1. You're sizing that neutral by 220.61. You're sizing the grounding electrode conductor per table 250.66. So the only table that's left out here for building 1 would be table 250.102C1, but it would be applied if there's no overcurrent device ahead of the conductor supplying building, the main building. So we have to keep that in mind. So if you had now, for example, an existing building, you have to make sure that that grounded conductor run over to building number 2 meets 250.102C1. So let's use the same thing. 4-volt conductors feeding building number 2 with a 225 amp main ahead of the 4-volt conductors. Then you would need a number 2 to serve as a path for an effective ground fault path if you didn't have an overcurrent device. But you have an overcurrent device ahead of it, so it would be based on 225 amp, it'd be a number 4 run over there. You could say, okay, I have a number 4, that serves as an effective path for the ground fault. It also serves as a bonding means to bond the metal in the building number 2 enclosure back to the main panel board in the main building. And then you would see if it was large enough to be your neutral. And you may say, well, no, 220.61 requires a 1-aught neutral because we have a lot of neutral load in that panel board. So 1-aught would have to be used instead of number 4. So. And if you happen to have a lot of phase-to-phase loads without neutrals involved in building number 2, and you may calculate a number 6 neutral, but you need a number 4 to serve as an equipment ground and a pad for the fault current, then you'd have to bring it up to number 4. So the final analysis is then that you use the larger conductor per table 250.122 or 220.61. And that's what this figure 16-52 is illustrating to the user of the code and the user reviewing this illustration.